Welcome, everybody, to this edition of The Table Spot. My name is Metal Mike, and I'm joined here, as always, with the man with the best beard in business. He is the host of The Boom over on the Boom PW Pod on Twitch and YouTube every Wednesday night. My co-host here every Monday night, Mr. Cam G.
Things on here on this particular platform or whatnot have you. So doing some different things here. So, but other than that, doing all right. Pretty interesting Raw that we got here tonight. So yeah, ready to get into it.
Yeah, very, very, very interesting Raw. That's okay. Cam, you know me, I could be a very calm person most of the time. And tonight's Monday Night Raw, and if you disagree with me, that's fine. You know I'm always cool with people disagreeing with me. But tonight's Monday Night Raw felt fucking weird. Tonight's Monday Night Raw felt very unusual. And tonight's Monday Night Raw, I'm going to say it, I think they fumbled with the momentum coming off of last week. They had a lot of momentum coming out of last week. They had momentum. I don't know if I guess I should I guess I should take back the word a lot and just say they had momentum coming off of last week, especially with that final segment last week. They didn't piggyback off of the momentum that they had from last week. They tried to, I think, but it just didn't work. Tonight, Monday Night Raw felt weird. Like they just said, hey, we're in Canada, we're going to go live, and we're just going to throw stuff at the wall and see if it works, type of deal. Is it wrong for me to feel that way? Because that's how tonight felt for me.
I mean, I don't know. It's all subjective, I guess. But, I mean, there's been other weeks where I feel like they really didn't have a plan. So, I mean, a weird Raw, an interesting Raw. I think you could use all those types of words to describe Raw tonight. To me, I think it was a decent Raw. I don't think it was awful. Obviously, I think the biggest thing that really kind of kept the show together was the tournament, the AAA tournament. I think they had some really good matches that really just kind of made you kind of ignore the rest of everything else that was going on, or the other stuff that was going on outside the tournament just kind of took a back seat to me. So that's kind of what I took from it. Other than that, I think they're in a decent position right now to do something to carry this momentum. Yeah, did they lose momentum from last week? Yeah. But I don't think they lost so much momentum from last week to this week to where this week was just downright awful, or they just kind of forgot about the momentum that they started. The dynamic right now between Solo Sikoa and LA Knight is just kind of leading the charge. How long does this Solo and LA Knight partnership last? Does Solo eventually turn on LA Knight and chase the world title himself? Who knows? So it's the most interesting thing going right now in the Bloodline, because the Bloodline thing right now is center stage in their storytelling right now. In Monday Night Raw. So we had to switch it up. We had to do something different. So I like where it's going right now.
I mean, you're not wrong. Tonight, it felt like the biggest thing that had the attention stuck to it were the two tournament matches. Like you said, anything outside of that, it was like, let's try this and see if it works. If it doesn't work, yeah, well, tonight just felt, I don't know if it's the start time. I mean, it started early tonight. We're here early. We're here almost 2 hours early. I mean, normally we're not here till 10:40, and it's only 8:49. So, I mean, I can too. I'm not gonna lie, I can too, because it's nice. I mean, hey, early night.
Yep,
I'm down for it too. Yep. That's why I honestly had no problems with the 4 o'clock start times at times.
Yeah,
the 2 o'clock start times at times, because had the rest of the night, which was nice. But it just seemed like tonight, it felt like, and I had all of the motivation to just come on here and lose my mind. I wanted to lose my mind. I did. I was going to lose my mind the minute I hit start and just go off on this show. And then as the night progressed, once I started feeling that way during this show, it went from like mid-show around 7:15, I was like, man, this show has just really just got me off the walls. Like, I'm ready to just come on here tonight and just go off because of the fact they didn't pick up off the momentum from last week. And then as the last hour and a half went on, I started calming down a little bit. And now I'm at a more calmer state to be able to discuss said show tonight. And like you said, this wasn't an awful show. It wasn't, but it also, you know, it just, I had just tonight felt weird. I want to ask you, and I always ask you this. You said tonight was not an awful show. What are you grading tonight?
I'll give tonight a solid C plus. You know, again, not a perfect show, but as I've said this in the past too, I don't think there's a such thing as a perfect show. There's always going to be some things that we're going to sit here and probably nitpick, or things that we can probably pick apart of things that we didn't like. So I'm not going to say it was a perfect show tonight, but I'll say tonight was a solid C plus. Again, like I said, I really like the momentum they got going right now with LA Knight and Solo Sikoa. I didn't have that on my bingo card in 2026. Didn't expect him to be the breakout babyface that he is right now. Everything he's doing right now, he's got merch out right now that I'm sure is selling like hotcakes. So again, they have another star on their hands that they definitely need to tread lightly with, because they don't want to ruin this with Solo Sikoa. And like I said, capitalize off of the momentum that he's got right now. Capitalize off of this rocket that he magically, I think he just kind of picked it up himself. I don't think they strapped it to him. He picked up the rocket and strapped it to his own back. So he can go very far, depending on, you know, where they really take this. So like I said, you know, to me, solid C plus.
Yeah, the Solo Sikoa stuff does feel a little natural. Like, he's just being himself. He's just being Solo Sikoa. It's like when he was a heel, when he was with the Bloodline originally, he was the guy that didn't talk. He was the enforcer, you know, all that stuff. When he started talking as a heel, when he was with the MFTs and everything like that, it was kind of like, yeah, this ain't clicking. It's not clicking at all. Everything about this just not feel right. And now that he's doing everything he's doing now, it's like, okay, now this is cool. Like, this is something that you can relate with, connect to, everything like that. Because we've talked about this before, especially with somebody like a Jey Uso, about taking somebody like Jey Uso seriously. And as time went on, you took Jey Uso seriously because he went on, won world titles, won WrestleMania against Gunther and everything like that. But then after the world title run, it was what's next for Jey, because do you keep him in the world title picture? Can you take him seriously further than this? And it's like Solo's answering that question of, man, I can't take Jey seriously. I can't take this guy seriously. He's out here going, this is your warning shot, boom. And I'm out here mocking him like, pew, pew, you know, even he made a freaking shirt about it. Like, come on now, you know, so I have to go against you on this. I got to say D plus tonight. I do. Tonight just did not do it for me. It didn't. I mean, there was a few things that did it for me, but other than that, this show didn't do it. The one thing that did it for me was the contract signing. Let's talk about that first. Obafemi and Braun Breaker in their contract signing tonight. Obviously, they're going to be facing each other at Sunday night's main event. And pretty much the title of this match is, who is the future of WWE? Now, we know Braun Breaker about 6-7 months ago, before Obafemi, or longer than that, almost about a year ago, before Obafemi came in, you looked at Braun Breaker and you looked at him like, okay, this guy is top star main event come 2028, 2029. He's going to be main event in WrestleManias. You know, winning the Royal Rumble. He's going to be doing everything that a top guy is got to be doing. Yeah, that's the way you looked at Braun Breaker. He goes out, got hurt, and then in comes Obafemi, specifically at the Royal Rumble. Yes, he was at John Cena's last match, had that great match against Cody, but then he comes into the Royal Rumble. He goes face-to-face with Brock, and we get the Brock Lesnar story. 7-8 months of the story with Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania, SummerSlam. They also had their match over in, in France, or Clash in Paris. And obviously Obafemi wins that 2-1. Brock rides off into the sunset. And now Braun Breaker having a little bit of an issue, because not only did Brock Lesnar hand him the torch, but it seems like Paul Heyman, who's supposed to be in the corner of Braun Breaker, is looking more towards Obafemi. Well, we get to this contract signing tonight, and Braun Breaker asked Obafemi, like, who the hell do you think you are? You know, before you got here, I was the guy. The only reason why you're at the level you're at right now is because I got hurt. That's it. So what? You won a couple of squash matches. Yeah, you won the King of the Ring. Congratulations. And yeah, you beat Brock Lesnar. Big deal. Braun Breaker sat there and said, ooh, big deal. I'm beating Brock Lesnar. That's a pretty big feat. That's a pretty big feat.
It is.
For Braun Breaker to sit there and act like it's not a big feat to go out and beat Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Like, here, newsflash, Braun, you didn't beat Brock. You didn't eliminate him from the Royal Rumble, did you?
Yeah.
No. What have you done lately? Now, granted, Braun Breaker is impressive. Okay, but tonight, not so impressive. Obviously, Obafemi, he was prepared for tonight. He had his choice words for Braun. And then as the contract was getting signed, before Obafemi could sign the contract, he hands it to Paul Heyman and says to Oba, hey, you want to sign this? How about you let Daddy sign it? Meaning Paul Heyman, because Braun Breaker thinks that Paul Heyman is in the corner of Obafemi. He does not think that he has his back. He thinks that he's more behind Obafemi. And as this happens, out comes the rest of the division. Well, Austin Theory comes out, and they try and get the upper hand on Obafemi. Obafemi just very quickly takes care of business, signs the contract, and here we are. We are getting this match at Sunday night's main event, which is kind of fitting because this is like their PLE of the month. They don't have anything else planned until we get to Money in the Bank on October 10th. Your thoughts on this contract signing? Because, I mean, it seemed like Obafemi had Braun Breaker shook. That's just it. He did. You've seen him trembling. You've seen him tripping over his words. Obafemi has Braun Breaker shook. Do you agree?
I don't know. It just kind of seemed like to me like he was just really trying to convince himself that, you know, he can beat Obafemi or that he is indeed the future. Nothing he said really was just connecting with me, and it just didn't sound like it just didn't sound convincing. Whereas Obafemi was the complete opposite. I think Obafemi was just kind of like, you know, kind of sitting back in his chair, and he was just very confident. Like he was really confident that he's going to win this match and that he's the future of this company. So right now, like I said, it's a great story. And I'm sure we had a conversation about this before. These are two guys that I think are going to feud for a long time because these are guys that are going to be, again, not to be, you know, to overuse the word, but the future of your young roster. Yeah. So this is something that I think is going to last and be, you know, built out for the next couple of years. I'm indifferent towards contract signings. You know, some are good, some are needed. I think, you know, there have been an overabundance. I think with contract signings now, especially since ever since the inception of AEW, now you could possibly see, you know, 1 to 3. I mean, with the inclusion of TNA as well, 1 to 3 contract signings almost every other week. You know, depending on, you know, if the world title's on the line or if it's some major match or whatever. This didn't really need a contract signing, but they needed some sort of serious setting to where everything could be laid out and their story could be kind of progressed a little bit more here. This was good stuff. I do agree. But again, I just believe that, you know, whatever these two do, I mean, it's in its early stages. I think you really can't miss. This is what Oba needs. Oba needs another big match now that Brock is gone. And Braun, he desperately needs something. I'm going to say this, and you probably won't agree with this, but I kind of feel like Braun should have came out without the tag team title, because if you're going to make a statement like, okay, oh yeah, you beat Brock Lesnar. Oh, you won King of the Ring. These are major feats. All you've done lately is win a mid-card tag team title with Austin Theory. Like it looked a little weird. He could have just came out without the title. It didn't need to be shown in this capacity, because right now the tag team title is taking a back seat. So all in all, like I think it would have just added to the impact of what he was saying on the mic. Eventually, of course, we already know this breaks down into chaos or whatever. Now, Austin Theory getting involved to me kind of just almost proved what Oba was kind of saying, and to me it's just like, okay, it further it just makes me believe even more that what he was saying, that what Braun was saying, he has no confidence behind what he's saying. He's trying to convince himself. He's trying to amp himself up. Thus, he needs Austin Theory's help to take down Obafemi. So. Yeah. So, but other than that, though, I thought this was a great segment between the two.
So I'm going to come to a happy medium with you. I'm going to agree with you, but I'm going to disagree with you. Okay. We're going to go 50-50 on this. I disagree with you because I am a stickler for if you are a champion, no matter what, you come out with your championship that you are representing. So it's like, yes, Braun Breaker is a tag team champion. Come out with your championship on air, on camera. And with the way tag team wrestling is today and the tag team division and all of professional wrestling right now, AEW, TNA, everywhere, WWE, it's at a low right now. So anything that you can do to help boost tag team wrestling got to be done. Okay? But I'm going to agree with you. Not to come out with the tag team titles when you're in a single competition feud like this. Okay? So, for example, like you said tonight, if he would not have come out with the tag team title, it would have made a little more of an impact. I could agree with that because this isn't a tag team title match. This is not a tag team match. This is a one-on-one match to prove who is the future and the face of this company. So for him to not come out with the tag team title, I would have accepted that because of that fact. Now, if it was Obafemi and, let's say somebody, I'm not going to throw out a superstar's name, Obafemi and tag team against Austin Theory and Braun Breaker for the tag team titles, then I'd be like, yeah, bring those tag belts out here. But for this situation, I could agree with you. Do not bring the tag belt out. It gives it a little more of impact. It gives it a little more of the importance that this is not a title match. This ain't for the tag team titles. That belt does not need to be seen at this moment. It does not. The only way I've seen that working is the fact that Austin Theory did come out and try to attack Obafemi, but Obafemi got the upper hand. These guys weren't standing tall at the end of the day. Oba wasn't laid out. Oba was standing tall. So you did nothing to represent being tag team champions.
Yeah.
But as far as these two guys, we talked about this a couple weeks ago when all this started with Braun Breaker. These guys are the future of those pack of guys who are going to be in the main event scene. They are. They both are. They do this right. These guys can be that plug and play for anything. And we've talked about plug and play. We got it over in AEW with Hangman Adam Page and Swerve. Back in the day, John Cena and Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, the plug and play matches that if you need a main event and you can't think of anything at that moment, put those guys in it and you're good to go. If they do this story right, which so far the story has not started off bad. It has not. By all means, tonight was entertaining. The past couple weeks, with the way Braun Breaker's been, it has been entertaining. Obafemi is entertaining.
Yeah.
You do this right, these guys can be that for the next 10 plus years. But they got to stay on track with it. And don't oversaturate it either. Don't think you have to give us these guys once a year. Have these guys come back to each other in stories that lead into each other.
Yeah.
Don't just be like, hey, we're going to do Obafemi and Braun Breaker because we know it's going to put asses in the seats and put money in our pockets. No. Give us something worthwhile and have it to where they come back to each other. Not just, hey, I need a main event. But they can turn into that situation. So, you mentioned LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, the Usos. I mean, we got that at the top of the show. LA Knight came out and talked about everything that happened last week. Talked about Solo Sikoa having his back. He said that if he wanted the world title, if he wants to have the world title, then he's got to get his hands dirty, even if that means getting in a little bit of family business. Solo Sikoa came out, didn't really say too much, but hey, thank you. And, everything for LA Knight helping him out. And then the Usos came out and they had a couple choice back and forth words, some stuff we already have heard back and forth already. Not too much difference. And they end up challenging each other for a match in the main event tonight. We do get to the main event and we do not get a winner of this match. Why? Because Royce Keys, who got attacked about 3 weeks ago by Jacob Fatu and taken out, makes his return and he comes back with OTM, which is, if I get these names right, Bronco Nima and yes. Lucia Price, OTM, out the mud. So, Cam, I mean, I don't know too much about OTM. I know a lot about Royce Keys. I know a lot about all the other guys. Number one, this is the factor where I say not building off the momentum from last week with that final segment, but they tried to with what was going on tonight with the Usos and LA Knight and Solo Sikoa. We even seen that backstage with Jacob to where the Usos were like, hey, we're the captains. We tell you to run a play, you run a play. Jacob was not about it. He was like, hey, the OTC tells me what to do. You guys don't tell me what to do. I don't care what title you have. And that's it. Seems like a little bit of friction between Jacob and Jay. But your thoughts on this whole situation with the Bloodline, Solo, LA Knight, and now Royce Keys and OTM coming in?
Well, I do believe that, first of all, I believe that Jacob Fatu eventually will turn on the Usos. I won't be surprised if there's some sort of build-up to where they're trying to force Jacob to do something he doesn't want to do, yada, yada, yada. But then because of the slow build that they're building here and they're not trying to have that breakdown so soon, he'll probably end up making the decision to stay with the Bloodline, the Usos, and Roman included. So, but it's going to be a slow burn. It's going to be a slow burn. With that breakdown with Jacob Fatu right now. But like I said, again, another interesting development as well. In terms of, I feel like once again, and this is what I was saying about, what they did from last week to this week. Obviously last week was more impactful with the whole Solo Sikoa thing, but I think this week, once again, it's just adding a little bit more interest again with this Bloodline thing and kind of mixing things up or whatever. I've never really been a fan of OTM. OTM has been in NXT for quite a while now. The first time I had really seen them together, they were with, I think they were with Reggie. I don't know if anybody remembers Reggie, but Reggie was down there in NXT. He was with OTM, and I believe Jada Parker at one point was with OTM as well. And then they kind of got put on the back burner for a while. I heard they had like broken up or something of that nature. So I'm surprised they're even really still a thing. So if it was just them as a tag team, I haven't really seen enough from them on the mic or in the ring to really be impressed or get me out of my seat or something to really grab me about OTM. So I've never really been a big fan of OTM. But with Royce Keys, I think it kind of fits because, Royce Keys kind of has this rough, rugged kind of gimmick going on right now. And then you bring in, OTM. And these massive mountain men. I mean, they're not small by any means. I think it kind of works. It's a little strange that they're getting booed at the end of the show. I felt like maybe they would have come back and been, well, first of all, with Royce Keys, I thought he would have come back and been a babyface. So that's kind of odd to me because, the way in the nature that Royce Keys was taken out by Jacob Fatu was a very heel-ish thing. So I kind of just assumed that, Royce Keys was coming back to be a babyface. So thus him bringing in OTM now to, basically have his own crew of his own. I just kind of felt like they were going to end up being babyfaces. So that's kind of odd to see them being booed at the end of the show. And then they just kind of took out everybody. They took out the Bloodline, they took out Solo, and they took out LA Knight. They took out everybody. So yeah. I think the issue they're going to have in the coming weeks is they're going to have to try to clean this up because, again, much like I have said about AEW, this is starting to look like faction wars.
Yeah,
you got too many factions and too many teams and alliances. You're going to have to clean that up and make sense of it all because otherwise, I don't know about you, but I'm afraid of when we finally do get Roman Reigns and LA Knight because that's looking like it's going to be a freaking mess with OTM getting involved and Solo getting involved, and I don't want that. So it need to just be one-on-one. Finally give LA Knight a proper one-on-one match. So I don't know, but it is an interesting dynamic for sure. We'll see where this goes. They
end up taking the cheap way out and giving us your favorite match type of steel cage match, just to keep everybody out of the ring.
I was just thinking that too.
It's like we got to keep all these people out of the ring, we're gonna give him a steel cage match. Just try to do this way.
I can see it happening.
I agree with you. This is definitely something they need to clean up. Looking at Royce Keys and OTM, obviously, again, I know of Royce Keys, his AEW days, and now being in the WWE, but I'm not too familiar with OTM. I'm not. So getting my first glance at this faction together, number one, they look good. They do. They look good on screen. They do. Tonight looked good with taking everybody out. Awesome. What they need to do, though, is continue showing that they are a strong faction. I don't think it's so much of cleanup work on figuring out whether they're heels or baby faces. Tonight was good for them to what they did. They attacked both sides. This is basically them saying, we're not taking shit from anybody. We're just going to do us and do us only. We don't care about having anybody's back but our own. And I think that's part of the story is Jacob and Royce, they called each other brothers, family, had each other's back because, they'd been through so much stuff together. And Jacob ruined that in an instant, right after their match 3 weeks ago, attacked him. Well, Royce Keys came back and showed like, hey, you know what? I can't trust nobody anymore. I got people I can trust, and it's just these two guys alone. I don't trust nobody. That was my first take of this. And I like it. Because, yes, we get faction wars. But the thing is factions tend to group up with other superstars that are at the status of babyface or heel with them. This faction doesn't need that. They just need to be about themselves. Don't need them tagging up with anybody from the outside of this group. Don't need them being with anybody. It just needs to be them. I think this faction can work perfectly if they do that. That would give a different trajectory of a faction. Because, yeah, we got the Bloodline, and the Bloodline's all about family and everything like that. I get that. But the Bloodline has already done the whole we bring outside people in. Sami Zayn. Back at WrestleMania, the Usos tagged with LA Knight. So it's like they've already broken that fence of we'll bring outside people in to be with us. They're not permanent, but we'll get each other's backs. This group needs to be about themselves. We need to get that from them.
Yeah. And
tonight was a good start with that. Now let's see if they can continue it. We don't need that trajectory of babyface or heel from them. Just be them and just do them. If they continue to do that, I think they could be on a good path. Did this impress me? It did. It gave me a little of a positive impression. But it's going to be all about the follow-up. What do we get from them moving on? And as we know, sometimes these surprise attacks, they could be impressive, but then after that, it's like, well, what do we do next? They better have a plan for this group for the next 2-3 months. Have everything laid out on what you're going to do, but at the same time, keep them away from that LA Knight Roman Reigns match.
Yeah.
Keep them away from it. Have them fully concentrate on, like, yes, LA Knight was in the mix tonight, but how about they just focus on going after the Bloodline family members? Like, they attacked LA Knight tonight. Why? Because he was with Solo. But what if they just go after that family and Solo being included in that? And maybe that's the way Solo goes back to the Bloodline and ends up teaming with them because of this happening. Who knows? Do I want Solo to go back to the Bloodline? No, he's perfectly fine where he's at. He's doing great. He's doing good things. But part of me feels like they still want that to happen. I do. I still feel like they want Solo to be back with them at some point. So that might be the way. Because Jacob having his differences with Jay, does he truly have Jay's back? Will Jay truly have his back? And Solo at the end of the day comes in and be his little brother, But tonight was impressive with this new group, and we'll have to see what happens moving forward with the Bloodline and this new group. Have you thought of any names for this group? since seeing them. I mean, I know it's been short period of time. It's been less than an hour, but first glance,
I mean, unless they just stick with unless they just stick with OTM for the
just
three
stick
of
with
them.
OTM. Okay.
I don't know. So
I mean, that'd be the best way to go. Just stick with what you already have.
yeah.
You don't have to say Royce Keys and OTM. Just
yeah.
call yourselves OTM.
Yeah.
Just keep it simple.
Yeah.
That's it. So we have this luchador tournament. The winner ends up facing Roman Reigns at the Mexico City show on Monday Night Raw in a couple weeks. And we had our semifinal matches tonight. First off, we had Rey Fenix taking on Dragon Lee, which was a very anticipated match. I'll say this. I was anticipating this match, Cam. I was. Ever since last week, I was like, man, this is going to be a great match.
Yeah.
This match is going to be great. And for the most part, this match did impress me. Rey Fenix ended up getting the win. I think this was kind of predictable because of the fact that Penta taking on La Parka. Penta ends up picking up the win there. We've already discussed this, that it's obvious this is the Penta tournament. This is to get him to Roman Reigns for that championship on that Monday Night Raw. It was just all about who the finals would be, and the obvious was Rey Fenix against Penta. And that is what we are getting. If you have any thoughts on both these matches and your thoughts on the finals coming next week on Monday Night Raw between Rey Fenix and Penta, the brothers, the Lucha Brothers.
I thought this match was fantastic. This was phenomenal. This was probably the match of the night for Monday Night Raw tonight. I've been very iffy on this whole tournament. There are times when I just feel like it was kind of a waste of time. Yeah, very predictable. Yeah, because I mean, we kind of said it too. I don't know if we said it on screen before, but I know we definitely said it off screen that this tournament, looking at the bracket, I mean, it was Penta's tournament to win from the beginning. So it's not really that shocking that he's gotten as far as he has, and he is in the finals. But no, when I saw this match as the next match in the tournament, I was like, oh, this is going to be fantastic because we know how good Dragon Lee and the leaps and bounds that he has made just on his own as of recent. And like I said, we know how good Rey Fenix is. And Rey Fenix just really hasn't been given much of an opportunity to really showcase what he can do. So if they couldn't have made this match tonight work, I don't know. I kind of feel like Rey Fenix on his own is just kind of a lost cause if they couldn't have made this match work. But this was great. I have said it too before that the places that these tournament matches take place just seems weird to me because it's like I don't really know how many of these places really care about lucha libre wrestling, But tonight, in Canada of all places, I mean, we got a lucha libre chant. We got two "This is awesome" chants. Like they were actually into it. They actually breathed life into this great match. So it just made the match even better. I wouldn't have mind if Dragon Lee did win this match, but it would have been kind of more of a head scratcher just because you have the potential to do the match with the Lucha Bros against each other. So I mean, I think that's just a bigger match in general. So great match here. I mean, I think this show really needed it. It was the best match on the show for sure, and it definitely made me really, like I said, for once probably in this tournament, really care about this tournament. So it looked really exciting.
And thoughts on Penta and La Parka?
Oh, Penta and Parka was actually really good too. Not as good, obviously, but I definitely thought going into it, obviously with Rey Fenix winning his match, the Penta was going to win again, just kind of predictable as you said. But I loved the final image of seeing the two come face to face for the first time since they've been in this company. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. And the first time they actually said Lucha Bros on WWE television. So that was pretty cool too. So again, you're in for a banger main event of this or the finals of this tournament. So I can't wait to see that happen. And once again, I kind of spoke it into existence. Penta, potentially being another challenger for Roman Reigns. I said that a while ago. So I think that's going to be a good match as well. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I believe they are in Columbus, Ohio next Monday night for Monday Night Raw. I'm checking the schedule right now. Monday, what's the date next Monday night? Next Monday night is September 1st. It doesn't say where Raw is next week. I believe they are in Columbus, Ohio next Monday night for Monday Night Raw.
Next Monday's date is the 31st.
Yeah. Oh, next Monday is the 31st.
Yeah.
Right. They don't have next Monday Night Raw on the schedule. Friday, August 28th is Cleveland, Ohio. Savannah, Georgia on the 29th. That's a house show. House show on Sunday, which is North Charleston, South Carolina. It doesn't have where they are for Monday Night Raw, but I believe I caught that they were in Cleveland, Ohio next week. I believe. I might be wrong on that, though. But anyways, yeah, this final next week is going to be one hell of a match. And yeah, I like the reference that they had about saying the Lucha Brothers. That was cool, and the image at the end was super cool. Love the shot. It was really cool. And me and Phil had this discussion last week because Phil was on the table spot with me last week, and we were talking about the tournament. And I'd mentioned about what you mentioned about, the areas not, really being big in the Lucha Libre. And Phil agreed with me on that. It's like, yeah, there's certain areas. Well, agreed with me to agree with you on your point that certain areas don't see Lucha Libre wrestling really at all. There's very few areas like Mexico City, in Texas, and out in California as of recent. So it's like to be on the East Coast and up in Canada doing a tournament like this where you don't see much of Lucha Libre wrestling, and then to get the reaction that they got tonight with both these matches was just impressive. And hats off to them. Hopefully this finals match gets the response from the live crowd that's expected, because this is somewhat of a miniature dream match for WWE. It is. These two brothers who come in together pretty much at the same time. Yeah. You're thinking, are they going to be a tag team? Are they going to work solo? And they ended up working solo right out the gate. We haven't got them in a tag team match yet. There's expectations of them working as a tag team at some point. But I had said to Phil last week, like, if they want to do the Lucha Brothers, and I want to get your take on this real quick. I had said that if they want to do the Lucha Brothers tag team, we obviously know Rey Fenix hasn't done much on the WWE main roster as he's done in AAA, because obviously he's the Cruiserweight champion in AAA right now. He's going to be defending his championship tomorrow night on NXT. And then you have Penta, who has shot up to the moon. If you put these two in a tag team at this point, I said this, they're going to have to bring Penta down a little bit to kind of put him at that level with Rey Fenix, because Penta's up there. And Penta would definitely get more of the attention. Would you agree that they would have to bring Penta down a couple notches to kind of put them in a tag team, and that way they both get that recognition?
I don't think so. I think if you put them together, Rey Fenix is obviously going to benefit from the popularity that Penta has right now. Look at the Hardy brothers. Jeff was easily the more popular one. He was just a more colorful one, the high flyer than Matt was. But he benefited from just how popular Jeff was. He became just as equally popular. So I think that's what he needs right now. He needs that anchor that's going to pull him up out of, the depths of obscurity right now and make him more popular, which is going to be pairing him with his brothers. I think it's going to work for both of them. So they're just going to become on the same level. I don't really think you need to bring one of them down to, make the other more popular.
And this is why I tell you guys to go over and check out Cam on social media, Cam's Wrestling Corner, because he has great takes on pro wrestling. He knows how to sometimes turn my opinions into, agreeing with what he says. I literally sat here 10 seconds ago saying, hey, they got to knock Penta down a notch. No, because Rey Fenix would benefit off of this. I didn't think of that. That's why I tell you guys. Go check out his content. Great freaking takes on pro wrestling. My gosh. So we seen Rey Fenix backstage with Rey Mysterio. We don't have to touch on that too much. It's more so about the Javon Evans attacking the Judgment Day. Now, Dominic Mysterio went to Rey Mysterio and said, hey, you don't have your champion in AAA in this tournament to go after the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and I'm the greatest luchador of all time. And Rey said the reason why you're not in the tournament is because you're not a luchador. And out of nowhere, Javon Evans comes out and attacks the Judgment Day, takes out both Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough. And then he has his match against Big Cass. He says, Big Cass is next. Ends up having his match against Big Cass. And not too bad of a match, except for the ending. He got beat by a big boot. I'm going to say that one more time. He got beat by a big boot. Cam, I don't think I've seen anybody get beat by a big boot in the past 30 years.
Since
the last time
test.
The last time I seen somebody. Well, test. God, I was going to say the Hogan days. I mean, but he dropped the leg after the big boot.
He dropped the leg, yeah.
But I don't think I've ever seen in the past 30 years somebody win off of a big boot. And Big Cass did it. And then the Judgment Day came out and they, picked at the scraps of Big Cass beating Javon Evans and beat on Javon Evans. And that was it. And then we went to a backstage segment, which was an odd transition. But your thoughts on Javon Evans, Big Cass, and the Judgment Day?
So going back to the backstage segment first, again, I agree with you. Not much there. It's really to just kind of frame and shape this whole tournament and what's going on right now. Like I said, once again, if you notice, there's not really much of a feud or storyline going on with Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio, but they have definitely, come in contact with each other a lot more frequently. So once again, I don't think that story's done yet. So definitely pay attention to that. For Javon to come out of nowhere and just attack the Judgment Day was random. This is the thing where I didn't like. It was so random. Like, what beef has he had with them as of late? I mean, yeah, he fought JD McDonough a couple of weeks ago, but there has been no feud at all. So I don't know why he just like viciously attacked Dom and JD McDonough out of nowhere. That was random. And then on to the match. First of all, Big Cass's theme strikes me as like the modern day like Big Daddy Cool theme. I don't know if you got that theme, that vibe to it, but that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing to him. Like he's been coming out the last couple of weeks since he's come back in the same thing. Like these jeans and like Timberland boots, and then he wrestles in that, and it's like, okay, so what's his ring attire if he has any? Like there's nothing else to it. Like I just felt like that was kind of plain Jane.
I think that's it. That's it.
If that's it, I mean, that's kind of disappointing. Like I was kind of hoping for something else. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of weird to see him wrestling, Timberland boots. But whatever. Yeah. And then the match itself, I was expecting something a little more. I mean, this match wasn't that great. And then again, like I said, I mean, you and my brother pretty much. There were 2 times during the course of this show where you guys literally had messaged me like the exact same thing. So when he said a big boot ? You said the exact same thing 3 seconds later. And I told you both almost something identical. And I was like, wow. Javon Evans has been on a roll here the last couple of weeks, and he hasn't lost a match. So to lose to a simple big boot is wild to me. So I'm not really impressed right now. I need something a little more with Big Cass. It started off great, but now it's just kind of flatlining. It's just kind of, leveling off.
Yeah.
And I need something a little bit more from him. Put him on the mic a little bit more. Give me more of his goals, not to just stack bodies. Like I need something else a little bit more than that. And then I feel bad for Javon because now he's going to be sucked into the Judgment Day vortex, and nothing good really comes out of that vortex, that realm that they have, that they dwell in. So I'm not really liking that too much. I mean, if Dom or JD had something to really offer that would provide Javon with that next boost to that next level, I probably wouldn't mind it as much, but they don't really have anything. So, and I don't see Javon winning the AAA Mega Championship. That would be a head scratcher. So I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that.
Can I try and put a little bit of a shining light to the Javon Evans and Judgment Day thing?
Okay.
I think they're trying to finally give Javon Evans a steady storyline to follow up on, because if you look at how Javon Evans has been since he's come up to the main roster, he's been involved in the Intercontinental title a couple times, hasn't really had much of a steady storyline with anybody. It's just been like random matches here and there, little like 2-week feuds, and then that's it.
Yeah.
This is kind of like that first steady storyline for him. It's an introduction to the whole, like, put him in and like we said, this is like you said, like this is them entrusting Javon Evans to reintroduce Big Cass to WWE, which tonight happened. Now this is like Javon Evans getting his first taste of what might be a longer than 2-week story. this can build to possibly something to go into Money in the Bank, because let's face it, Javon Evans is going to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. I think that he fits to be in that mold of that match. So this could be something to where Javon Evans and let's say Dom Mysterio are both in that ladder match. It's going to build to a story of them having a little bit of something happen in that ladder match. And we've seen stories build up to that before. So this could be that little storyline to introduce Javon Evans to a long-term storytelling on the main roster. And it could be more to come for him. So that's the little shining light that I want to add into that. Because I can't disagree with you. It's like out of all things to put him in a Judgment Day storyline, we know how that ends. It's not good. But it's an introduction for him. It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
It's better than just having him randomly do stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, Javon Evans is starting to kind of earn me a little bit.
Yes, let's go.
A little bit. He is. He's getting there. He is getting there. So, as long as they keep going in the direction they're going with him, it might get me there. It might. So we'll definitely have to see what comes after this. I honestly thought this match was going to happen at Sunday night's main event, but Monday Night Raw tonight, not bad. Not a bad spot for it. So Chad Gable was backstage with Adam Pearce. They were talking about Chad Gable's next challenger, and apparently Adam Pearce has a challenger for Chad Gable. We've talked about this in length already, that after the Gable match with Rey Mysterio, they need to start building a storyline with the Intercontinental Championship and Chad Gable. They got to stop doing these random, like, hey, you deserve a title match, and you deserve a title match. And then into the picture comes Ethan Page. And Ethan Page starts saying, hey, like, I earned a title shot. I deserve a title shot, all this stuff. And he just kept blabbing and blabbing and blabbing. And then Chad Gable goes, you were going to get a title shot, but now because you ran your mouth, you're not. This confused me because all it took was for Ethan Page to run his mouth to not get a title shot. So I'm hoping, Cam, you could spread a little light on this because I'm kind of confused. How do people lose title matches by just talking?
Yeah, I don't know either. I really don't know. I'm kind of lost in that one too. But again, this is what WWE does. I mean, it's kind of their formulaic system of when you see babyfaces that are trying to chase certain titles that they want, of course, they want to earn it. They want to go about it the right way, yada, yada, yada. Whereas babyfaces just go straight up to the champion and say, hey, I've earned my keep. I've earned my spot to challenge you for the championship, and you need to stop overlooking me, running me, ducking me, whatever. This was kind of that same thing. So initially, I think this is, what was said tonight. It's not going to matter because if I had to guess, probably by next week, you're probably going to get Ethan Page probably blindsiding or attacking Chad Gable in some capacity, thus kind of setting up or lighting that fire underneath their feud for the championship. So initially, this isn't going to matter. Like I said, I think Ethan Page is definitely next in line for Intercontinental Championship. So yeah.
Well. Again, I was confused. Like, I don't think I've ever seen this before. Like, they always tell you that you learn something new every day, or there's still stuff out there that you've never seen. And I've never seen somebody talk them way out of a championship match. Like, that just really just was like, what? What? That was my reaction when that happened. I was confused. You can literally see the question marks above my head. Like, huh? How'd this happen? But if they end up going Ethan Page route, I wouldn't be opposed to him having a small feud with Ethan Page because it would be a good kickstart to a story, like starting off the storytelling for Chad Gable with the Intercontinental Championship. A good little kickstart, 3-week story, lead up to a match. Chad Gable obviously retains. We're not going to see Ethan Page with the Intercontinental title. Not happening. You don't do that to Chad Gable, especially in his first possible, I don't want to say major, but moderate story with the Intercontinental title. It's got to be against somebody who's going to be more impactful. And not saying Ethan Page isn't impactful, but it's that question of what has he done lately? 3 weeks, lead up to it. Get the match done. Let's move forward from this. wipe those question marks away from the above my head. Please do that. Please. Women's division. Women's division had a little bit of focus tonight. Let's talk about the Intercontinental title first. So Ruka last week defeated Lyra Valkyria in a number one contenders match. And now it wasn't titled a number one contenders match, but since Sol Ruka won last week, she is now getting a shot at the Intercontinental Championship against Raquel Rodriguez. And she was backstage with Io because Io, I don't know why Io was there, but Io was there congratulating Sol Ruka on getting a title match. And then Lyra came in and she tried to bargain her way of getting a title match, but it just did not work. Again, and I'm going to say this right now, this is the best work Lyra has done so far on Monday Night Raw, bar none. I have said this. She can mess up any type of storyline she wants. And I have said things before like, hey, she is statistically wrong on things. She's just not saying the things that are right about things that have been done in the past. Now, if she would talk about something that happened in the past and she wasn't fully correct on it, who cares? Because just her look alone catches your attention. Like she needs to find like a hotel or something and get some sleep. Like she needs to rest because she is a mess right now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of making me feel a little bad for her. Make me feel a little bad for her. It is. But your thoughts on Sol Ruka getting a shot at the Intercontinental title? You think she's winning it back?
No, she's not winning it back. Raquel, I think, is going to hold that championship for a little while. As she should. Like I said, they took so long to get her to this point, so might as well give her a run. In terms of Lyra, like I've been liking it. I've been liking the heel run. I've been liking this whole disheveled, borderline zombified Lyra Valkyria. I didn't know where it was going to go. I really didn't know what I was going to, initially what to think. But I'm liking it so far. I don't know what they're waiting on. They should just do a match between her and Sol Ruka for the number one contendership. That I think that's the route to go. Or like I said, or do a triple threat. I don't think there's a harm either. But overall, I think it's like I said, it's a really healthy mid card scene right now for the women's division right now with that Intercontinental Championship. And then in terms of Io just kind of hanging around the backstage area, just kind of hanging around Sol Ruka, dude. It's like ever since they snubbed her for a Mania match, it's like they're so far in the mud with creating anything for her
Yep.
Who am I thinking of? Io. Yeah, I almost said Lyra for some reason. They are so far in the mud with Io that they don't know how to fix it. Like I really don't think they know how to get out of this muddy situation they have right now.
So you mean like they're trying to push her on us so hard to make up for the fact that they snubbed her at Mania that it's like they're trying to keep us happy.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. So it's just like she's just kind of hanging around. She's like Sol Ruka's like groupie essentially. She's just there. Like, it's sad because like I said, she's one of the more popular females on this roster and for Monday Night Raw, and she's just uber talented. I've sung her praises many times on the show. So it's sad to see, but it's just like ever since then they really have not had much for her. There's no title implications for her her chasing the IC title. There's nothing for her. She's just really hanging around Sol Ruka just to stay relevant, I think. So it's unfortunate.
I mean, what if that's the main focus and end game for Raquel is us to get Io and Raquel? Like maybe that's why Io Sky is starting to show herself in this Intercontinental title picture a little bit, because you look at the world title picture, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. If you add Io Sky into the world title picture, then it just gets crowded. And it's crowded enough as it is with the Women's World Championship at the moment with who's involved. So where do you place Io next? In the Intercontinental title scene. Why? Because no matter what, and no matter how many women are in that scene, it's not crowded. Because it's doing the job that it needs to do. It's the mid-card title. You are supposed to have multiple people chasing you. Yes, you could say that about the World Championship, but you don't want too many people going after the world champion at the moment. You want one, maybe two people focused on the world title. Your mid-card title, you want you can have 10 people chasing, and it's not crowded, because it gives you that illusion of this is a mid-card championship. This is that end game before you get back up to that world title status. And Io Sky right now, she is so far away from the women's world title to where if they were to sit here and say, oh, next week, Io Sky is getting a women's world title match. Why? What has she done in the past 2-3 weeks? She lost her match at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Which means she's back at the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah.
Why is she getting women's world title match?
Yeah.
But if you sit here and say, hey, next week Io Sky is getting a shot at the Intercontinental Championship, then it's like, okay, all right, I'm down for this. Let's go for it. Why? Because that's what that championship initially is for. It's like your television championship without calling it a television championship, but it's the Intercontinental Championship. So maybe that's the focus, is getting Io Sky involved in that scene. And this is the start of it. And our end game is Io Sky and Raquel Rodriguez.
Could be.
Maybe. So we'll have to see. Maybe that's why they're pushing Io Sky back into our face at the moment. But women's world title, like I said, it's not crowded, but there's enough people in it. Stephanie Vakir obviously wants a shot. Becky Lynch wants a shot. That's very well documented. We know that. Stephanie last week said that she has a problem with Roxanne Perez, and she wanted to take care of that problem tonight. They end up having a match, and Stephanie Vakir ends up winning the match. Becky Lynch did come out and assist her because obviously Liv Morgan gets involved, Judgment Day stuff, yada, yada, yada. And Stephanie, after a little longer during the show, gets told she's going to get a women's world title match in 2 weeks. And she told Becky Lynch, I don't need your help. I don't want you near the ring. Anything like that. I can do this myself. I can get this world title back myself. So Stephanie Vakir, the first out of the two to get a women's world title shot. Cam, your thoughts on the match tonight and everything going on in the women's world title?
Yeah, Stephanie Vakir definitely is needed for a world championship match. Like I said, that never happened. That never really got solved, or we never came to a conclusion with that story with her and Liv. I would say the mistake here would be to have Liv honestly beat Stephanie Vakir clean. See, I think this is where you have the interference make sense. Again, we have some interference happen, and then that's why, Stephanie Vakir loses. Maybe even a Becky interference that inadvertently caused Stephanie Vakir. And then, like I said, then you have the triple threat that just makes sense, because, of course, Stephanie Vakir still wants another match, and then, you got Becky chasing, the title as well. So, and I don't think that would be a bad triple threat, to say the least. So we definitely need to have that happen. Hopefully it's not, just some, Saturday night's main event or Sunday night's main event. This needs to be on a pay-per-view. I think it's big enough to where you could definitely sell tickets with this. So it can't be on one of those shows. It's just, to me, it's too big. It's too important for this women's world title right now.
So Money in the Bank, maybe triple threat.
Money in the Bank, I could see it, since that's like their next real big PLE coming up anyway. So,
and you think of it, I mean, if you get the women's world championship match and the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, because obviously the two matches so far are the men's and women's Money in the Bank. So you're going to have 2 or 3 other matches added onto that card, right? So, I mean, whoever wins that women's Money in the Bank might make things a little more interesting later on that night, if they kick off the night with the women's ladder match. So, what's up, Mike? How's it going? Thank you for joining us here on the Table Spot. Appreciate you stopping in, checking out the show. Getting towards the end here. That is Monday Night Raw from Ottawa, Canada tonight on August 24th, 2026. Cam, Superstar of the Night. Who do you got?
Superstar of the Night. I think I'm gonna go with Rey Fenix.
Okay.
I think Rey Fenix and Dragon Lee had a fantastic match. Again, the match of the night for me. Again, his best showing. They need to do more with him in capacities like this. Maybe a move to Raw wouldn't be so bad. I'm not saying you got to put the Lucha Bros back together, but I would say a move to Raw off of SmackDown that I think is getting kind of crowded on SmackDown. So I think a move to Raw, I think, would be a fresh start for him in a singles capacity. But yeah, definitely him. He was definitely somebody who just kind of grabbed me and had my attention during the course of that match.
All right, I'm gonna go LA Knight and Solo Sikoa from that opening segment tonight. I mean, that opening segment, it was a little dry, but they made it tolerable. Yeah. And the Matrix thing that Solo did was just fucking hilarious. Come on, man. I don't know if I would ever sit here again and say Solo Sikoa. So I, at least in 2026, got to give him 1 week. I do. And this is the week because that Matrix thing was great. And like you said off air, they got to make a shirt of it. Like that'd be a shirt to spend money on, so that would be great. So those are my superstars of the night. Last segment before we get out of here for the night, the On This Day segment. And Cam, a fun and actually a pretty interesting On This Day. Back in 1999, WWE taped the first ever episode of SmackDown in the Kemper Arena in Kansas City. After the success of the pilot episode 4 months earlier, the first weekly show began airing on UPN later that week. The show was headlined by Triple H defeating The Rock after interference from special referee Shawn Michaels. So even though we got an episode of SmackDown 4 months earlier, they made it a weekly thing, and the first episode was taped on this day back in 1999. So 27 years, or 27 years ago today. So 27 years old SmackDown is today.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
Crazy.
Just think in 2029, it's going to be 30 years old SmackDown. Yes. And Monday Night Raw, Monday Night Raw is coming up on I think on I think that started in 1993. So 2020 to 93, 2003, 2013, 2023, they just turned 30 years old. 33 years old. So it's about to turn 34 years old.
Yeah.
That is nuts.
Crazy.
Man.
Insane.
But Cam, we're going to get the hell out of here, man. That's it for us. And before we do, make sure you head over to Cam's social medias after the show and hit that follow button, especially over on Cam's Wrestling Corner. I promise you won't be disappointed. Great takes on pro wrestling over on Cam's Wrestling Corner. I'm not just saying that because this man is digitally sitting next to me. Cam, what do you got going on?
Like I said, definitely keep with me on Cam's Wrestling Corner. I've been live actually on TikTok this entire time, so I'm kind of on both at the same time. Nice. So thank you all guys for coming by and checking out the stream, of course, on here and on YouTube. And then, of course, I'm right back here on the network on Wednesdays, every single Wednesday night with me, Middlecore Mike, and, of course, the addition of Phil Kahn with the new episode of The Boom, talking about some AEW Dynamite every single Wednesday night. So definitely check us out then as well. And, we'll be back here once again for another Raw next Monday night with another episode of The Table Spot. Thank you guys for coming by and checking out the stream tonight.
All right, so make sure you're checking out everything Cam is doing on social media, on the shows here. Like Cam said, on The Boom every Wednesday night after AEW Dynamite. We got the go-home show to All In this Wednesday.
Yes.
Talk about some All In. So make sure after we get off air here to head over to the Boom PW Pod over on Twitch and on YouTube. Hit that follow and subscribe button and come check us out on Wednesday night right after AEW Dynamite. Make sure you're hitting the follow and subscribe button right here on the Table Spot PW Pod here on Twitch. And if you're not on Twitch, YouTube. Go back and forth, hit follow, hit subscribe. But not only that, you can check out the Huddle Hub Podcast. The Huddle Hub Podcast is live every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right now with myself and John as we are doing conference breakdowns leading up to the 2026 college football season. College football season kicks off this Saturday. We got 2 conferences left to talk about. We're talking about the SEC this week, and then next Tuesday, we will be talking about the Big Ten to wrap up our conference preview shows, and then that's it. We are full force into the college football season. But not only that, Sunday morning, I am live every Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But once the NFL season kicks off, Cam is going to be with me, and we're going to have a new start time on Sunday mornings as we get you guys ready for NFL Sunday football And obviously, we'll talk about Monday Night Football as well. So football season coming up super quick, man. Preseason has been great. Preseason has been so awesome. This offseason has been awesome. So head over to the Huddle Hub Podcast over on twitch.tv/the Huddle Hub Podcast, youtube.com/@the-huddle-pod for the live shows. And of course, check us out on TikTok, Instagram, and on X at the Huddle Hub Pod. So yeah, come check it out. And you can follow me on social media, MetalBike714, TikTok, Instagram, X, and YouTube. All right. Thank you guys for stopping by. Hope you all have a great rest of your Monday night. We will see you Wednesday night on the Boom. Until then, be good to each other, be kind to each other, take care of each other, be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. Deuces. Oh, I hit the wrong button.